Oh hey, Ronnie here from Four Wheeling in Western Australia. Since you're in my fridge, why don't we discuss what's better, the fridge or the icebox, and for each situation as well. We're mainly covering the fridge versus the icebox, pros and cons. If you are deciding whether you should get a fridge over an icebox, well, this video is definitely for you. So before I state the pros and cons on these two options, let's state the obvious first. The main factor why you should choose a fridge over an ESKY, or whether you should just stick with an ESKY. The number one thing with the ESKY, well, it relies on ice. So this is what it relies on. You have ice in this box, it will last you a good 2-3 days in this kind of weather. But in summer, especially in Australia or other hot climate countries, the more you open this lid, the more this is going to melt. So you are going to need to top up again. This thing will need more ice. So that there is good for when you are traveling near civilization, where you can get ice. This is perfectly fine. You do not need a refrigerator. Then we have the refrigerator. This thing here is good for everything. So if you head out into the outback or a remote trip or somewhere where you cannot get ice, this becomes a must-have. This is the only way you can keep your food cool. And pros and cons, the fridge versus the ESKY. We'll start with the fridge. This thing will keep running so long as there's power to it. You won't need ice top-ups. I can adjust the temperature on this one in particular. I can turn it into a freezer, or I can make it a fridge. I can completely control the temperature on it. You can also get some that are half fridge, half freezer. They've got two different compartments. Your food won't go soggy. And some items, perhaps medications, you need to store in a cool yet dry environment or place or space. The fridge. Now to the cons with the refrigerator. Obviously the main con is the cost. These are so freaking expensive. For a good brand, a reliable brand, you're looking at about $1,000 Australian dollars. You can get some cheaper ones, and depending on the size, they can be more, they can be less. If you only have a single battery set up in your vehicle, this thing will drain your battery, you can't start your car, you are pretty much stuffed. So in order to have one of these, you should really have a dual battery system set up so you don't end up in that situation. Comparatively in size versus the icebox, there is so much less space in a fridge, and that's because of the motor, condenser or compressor that makes everything cold. That takes up probably more than a third of the fridge space up. And then you got the edges, you got the foam walls and all that, you got your control panel, all that takes up space. So this fridge looks more like almost a 100-litre fridge, but the inside is only 60 litres. These things are not so portable. Yes, you can pull them out just like an icebox, but it needs power. So portability wise, not so good, but they are mainly designed to be strapped down in your vehicle. And here we are in the backyard. Chevy. The main pro is it's a lot cheaper to buy an ESKY cool box. In fact, so cheap, you can get two different sizes. This doesn't rely on any power and can get chucked around, is pretty much waterproof. It's not going to break on you. As opposed to the refrigerator, 1/3 of the space is the motor, the bit that keeps everything cool. Well, in this case, there is no motor required, so there's a lot more space to put stuff in there. This is very, very portable. So anywhere you go, take it straight out of the vehicle, straight out of the ute, wherever, and you can just lug it around. Now onto the cons. We've kind of already covered this. It needs ice. You need ice to keep things cool in there. This comes back to the Pro that I said, there's more space in this as opposed to a fridge. Well, once you put the ice in, you're losing space there as well because the ice needs to be in there, which takes up the volume. The more stuff you put in there, the less ice you can get in there and the less efficient it is. So it's a catch-22. The more you open this lid and close, open, close, especially in a hot day, the ice is going to melt. It's not going to last that long. There are no temperature settings. All you have is ice cold. Ice costs money. And yes, it's not a lot of money. It's a lot cheaper than a fridge still. Your food will go soggy if it stays in there and is not sealed correctly. Who wants a soggy sandwich anyway? Well, I hope I've made your decision easier to make between a 12-volt fridge and the Icebox/cooler. In the past, I have happily left my DC fridge at home and then replaced it with a cooler for a couple of short trips. I find that there's a bit more space and sometimes it's a bit easier to just bring the ESKY as I can take it off the back of the ute. Oh, you're still here. Well, if you want some good tips on how to maintain your icebox and to get the most out of your fridge and lots more tips like that, click on the link below. And if you like these coolers, beer coolers, drink coolers, check them out on our website. Until then, see you later.